Hello guys, it's me Luigi Marinus Gaming. And today I'm gonna be reviewing Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. But be careful, this is a spoiler review, so come back after you watch the movie if you haven't already. So I recently rewatched Puss in Boots: The Last Wish yesterday to clear my mind and evaluate what I've seen and what happened during the movie. I watched it the first time on December 7th and it became my new favorite movie of all time, and when I rewatched it I gotta say it still holds up to that praise I gave it 2 weeks ago. Wanna know why? Well, I will explain. So the movie starts off when Puss in Boots defeats the giant, which kinda reminded me of the Bergen from Trolls for some reasons. After defeating the giant he loses his 8th life by getting crushed by a bell similar to Coco. It's almost like DreamWorks wanted to reference the movie. Puss wakes up at the doctor's office and the doctor recommends Puss to retire, but he refuses his advice. Later that night he comes across the wolf named Death, which is literally his name. I see him as the main villain, as he's the one that tries to kill Puss in Boots the whole way through and take his 9th life, and oh man, I gotta say that he's the most intimidating villain I've ever seen in an animated movie. He's also one of the rare villains in an animated movie that scared me in theaters. The last time I've seen a villain like that was Sing 2 with Jimmy Crystal, which I thought was an intimidating villain to be fair, but Jimmy Crystal doesn't hold a candle to how intimidating Death was. The Death Wolf was a mix of Shen from Kung Fu Panda and Pitch from Rise of the Guardians in my opinion. You also know when the wolf is near when you hear a whistle from him, which always gives me goosebumps. Anyways, Puss hears about a wishing star and tries to get his lives back. He tries to steal the map, but Kitty Softpaws had a head start and got it first. After getting the map, Puss, Perro and Kitty enter a portal to find the wishing star. This story was very unpredictable in my opinion, as I couldn't expect what would happen next because I kept guessing if they would get the wish or not. Every character has their own wish except for the Death Wolf and Perro. Along the way Puss in Boots meets Perro, which I was very concerned about him that DreamWorks would kill him off, but luckily he didn't die, which I was very glad he didn't since he was my favorite character. He's funny, sweet, cute and very nice and likable. Some people could say he can be a plot device, but I disagree about that because he really helped Puss to calm down at some parts. Perro also had a sad backstory, which I really felt bad for him. I also thought Puss in Boots, his character was well written and well executed, since it really was entirely about his whole character. We also got to see Puss looking at himself in his past 8 lives, which was pretty clever. I also really liked Kitty Softpaws in this movie, but at first she didn't trust Puss in Boots because of something that happened between her and Puss, but later on they start to become friends again. There's also Jack Horner, which may seem like a typical villain, but I enjoyed him. He was pretty funny and I liked how he was just evil and nothing else. There's also Goldilocks and the 3 bears, which I thought were the most developed villains out of all 6 villains, and you really do care about them since Goldilocks got adopted by the bears because she didn't have a family and she wanted to wish for a family, and you start to realize that maybe they aren't that bad of people, which I can't say about Jack Horner and Death. While sure Death may have let Puss live his last life, he did say they would meet again, so that doesn't really redeem him, but he still was a great villain anyway. This movie also made me feel emotional at some parts, like when Puss's lives are flashing before his eyes, and it really almost teared me up. And not just that, but Shrek also made an appearance in a flashback as a blink or you will miss it moment. This movie also has a lot of references to the fairy tales like the original Shrek movies did. I also thought this movie took the concept of death more deeper than both Coco and Soul. Also at the end of the movie I almost teared up when they played the original music of the Shrek movies. When Puss, Perro and Kitty head to far, far away, Puss says that they are gonna meet up with some old friends, which is teasing a Shrek 5, but I would be kinda mixed on since Shrek 4 was the last chapter of the Shrek franchise. But other than that I would say bravo DreamWorks, you made 2 hit movies this year, first The Bad Guys and now Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. This makes me even more excited for Trolls 3 and Kung Fu Panda 4. Because it seems we can expect some great things in the future. As for my rating, I'd give Puss in Boots: The Last Wish a strong 10 out of 10 rating. Not only is it my favorite DreamWorks sequel, but also my favorite DreamWorks movie, my favorite animated movie and my favorite movie of all time. Stay tuned for my next animated movie review, which is probably way further in April with the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Please let this movie be good.